Yo, it's Silicon Steak here, and today I wanted to talk about a very important topic that I hear a lot in the PC community, and that is upgrade longevity. Right here, we have a picture of AM4, the AM4 socket. And hey, the AM4 socket, I mean, I get it. It was legendary, and I flip and build PCs, and I use primarily the AM4 socket for a major reason, and that's just because you can support so much CPUs on it. Everyone's talking about AM5 right now. AMD says they're going to support it through 2025, maybe even 2026. And that's a big deal. No one wants to buy the LGA 1700 socket. No one wants to buy 12th, 13th, and 14th gen CPUs, primarily before the whole instability scandal, because they can't upgrade their CPU. That's dead end. What 14th gen is the last CPU you can upgrade. And today I just kind of want to talk about, does that matter for a CPU? Does it matter really that much that you should avoid buying a platform because you can't upgrade? Now, in the case of AM4, I think it really helped them get ahead, and I think in that case it did matter. But I kind of just wanted to talk about a little bit of benchmarks, what we have here. I think people don't understand that upgrading their CPU for gaming most of the time isn't going to help them that much. Right here, it looks like, whoa, CPUs make a huge difference. 13900K, 300 FPS. 13100, 131 FPS. You know? Uh, and that's at the lowest settings, so you get the highest frame rate, or it's at basic. And people think, oh, 13900K is like twice as fast. And sure, it is if you have a 4090. And that's the thing. Are you buying a 4090? What graphics card do you have? If you have a 3080, it's not even twice as fast. And if you have a 3060, they're basically the same. Now, Hardware Box also had a video. Let's see here. Is this it or? Yeah, this one. Where 7900 XT in this game, with a Ryzen 2600, you're only getting 141 FPS, 1400K, 200 FPS. But with that same CPU, when you're using a 6600 instead of using a 7900 XT, your Ryzen 2600 all the way from 2016, I think, is performing the same as a 14900K. Let that sit in. And I see people recommend the RX 6600 all the time. It's not a bad GPU by any means. But think about this for a second. CPU from 2016 with the RX 6600 in this game, at these settings, you are not being bottlenecked by your CPU. It's still the GPU. So if you're getting a GPU, say the 7800 XT, you do not need a 7800X 3D. You don't. You're wasting your money on that CPU. And okay, but we're getting back to originally what we were talking about. Upgrades, CPU upgrades. How much does a CPU upgrade matter? Well, I kind of just wrote this down because this is kind of what I think, and I think you'll agree with me, but the average generational CPU uplift is around 15% in single core, as in gaming. And this is kind of what you'll see on average from CPU. At least you'll hope that you can get at least 15%. Sometimes it's 20% or more, and that's like a great generational uplift for a CPU. And you'll see that usually if they introduce a new memory standard, you'll see that. And then a GPU, hopefully with the average GPU uplift, you'll see about 50%. And, sometimes it can be more than 50%. If it's 30%, I consider that a wash for a GPU. You definitely shouldn't upgrade for 30% more performance. 40, 50% is like the lowest you should consider. And in a generation, that's what you would typically see for one SKU to another. So let me ask you this question. You upgrade your CPU this year, you get the 7800X 3D, you get AM5 because, platform upgradability. Okay. The next CPU, 99 or 9800X 3D, is 15% faster. Do you need to upgrade? You have a 7800 XT graphics card. Do you need to upgrade? The answer is no. The only GPU you're gonna be bottlenecked by is the 4090. Maybe. I'm not even sure if that will bottleneck you. But why would you spend your money on 15% more performance when you could get a GPU with 50% more performance? Just doesn't make sense, right? So if you get a 13700K now, how much more time would it take for you to need to upgrade? You know, well, first you're gonna have to upgrade your GPU. So how often do you do that? Well, I think the most enthusiast people do that maybe once a year, right? Now I'd probably do it every 2 years. That's kind of my preference, but I can see people going 4 to 5 years without a GPU upgrade. If you wait that long, any CPU on your platform is going to be kind of irrelevant for your GPU upgrade because GPUs increase so much faster than CPUs. So, in my opinion, this platform upgradability kind of thing we're talking about, it doesn't matter as much as you think. Also, you're going to be losing out on new features for your motherboard, like the new PCIe gens, new NVMe slots, new LAN, like 10 gigabit LAN, and new Wi-Fi. So you're going to be missing out on all those things when you don't upgrade your motherboard, and that's just the nature of staying on the same platform. Which is, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But what I'm trying to argue here is when you buy a CPU, it should last you more than 1 or 2 years. You shouldn't have to upgrade that. And let's say, I can understand if you got the 7500F from AliExpress, because that CPU is only like $120, and you can make a case for getting on AM5 with that and then upgrading to a higher core CPU. But I don't know. You could make the same case for LGA 1700. Get a 12100F, upgrade to 14700K, and you just had a huge improvement. So I don't know. The one saving grace of the upgrade platform, I think, is the cost, because you could jump in back in 2016 with a Ryzen 2600. You could jump in with this CPU, which I do not know why it's $140. Do not pay that. And then you could jump all the way to a 5700X 3D today. And let's see what the MSRP of this was. It was $200. And this on AliExpress is about $140. I know it says 170, but I've seen as low as 140. So you're paying for a CPU upgrade that's going to give you about double the performance on the same motherboard, and you can upgrade that with your GPU. Now, AM4 is a rare case. I'm not sure if we'll ever have anything like AM4 again, but that's kind of the saving grace, is you can wait for CPUs to drop in value and then buy them up. But really, you're just waiting for the CPU to become irrelevant to most people, and then you pick it up at a lower price. That's kind of what you're doing. So you wouldn't be able to buy CPUs right when they come out if you use this strategy. And so yeah, it's a way to extend your platform longevity and save a little bit of money. It's really just a money saving thing. That's kind of what I think. Honestly, I think you're going to want to go with the GPU upgrade most of the time, and you'll keep your CPU for like 5 years and it'll be good, and then you'll just upgrade it again. I don't think the upgradability of your CPU is that big a deal. People make it out to be, but hey, that's just my 2 cents. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you. See ya out, Silicon State.